Fireside Chat.
Please welcome to the stage, Miss Maria Bella. You performed. It was very fun.
Wonderful.
And I've got all kinds of questions. So you obviously are very skilled at this, and you clearly have been doing it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm curious to know what brought you here. What attracted you to burlesque?
We invited her.
Oh man, there's like so much. Sorry, I'm out of breath. Gosh.
But if you want, we can just talk for a minute if you need to catch your breath.
No, it's okay. The first thing that attracted me to burlesque, I was in New York on a photo shoot, and I saw this woman who just embodied glamour. She was confident, she was robust, she was curvy, she was gorgeous. And she goes by the name of Dirty Martini. I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with her, but she was just spellbinding. I mean, like everything. I mean, she would just put her hand in the air and take off a glove for like a whole minute, and I was mesmerized. And I was like, how do I get involved in this? How? And then I came back to Baltimore and immediately started researching everything. And I was like, oh my God, found Trixie Little and the Evil Hay Monkey. And immediately started, I enrolled in their boot camp. And ever since then, I was just like, okay, now how can I, make more of a presence? And started Gilded Lily Burlesque.
And tell us a little bit about that. I'm aware that Gilded Lily exists, but I'm not entirely sure what it is.
Gilded Lily is a troupe. We started out with 8 members. It was crazy. Back in 2007 of November. And I just put out like a call on Craigslist. Back in the days of like MySpace, is kind of funny. So
did you get some weird responses on that one?
Yeah, it did. Yeah. And so we put out our first call, and it was myself and Sable Sincere. And our first audition, one person showed up. I was like, oh God, this is probably not something that I should be doing. And so we put out a second call, and like 6 people came. I think it was just kind of just starting to create a stir. And
was the one person any good?
No.
He's okay.
I wasn't going to tell them.
Well, is there something I've been wondering, and don't let me stop you if you had more to talk about here about Gilded Lily, but I'm wondering how is burlesque? What makes burlesque okay? Because a lot of people are going to think that it's not.
Yeah, it just depends on your school of thought. A lot of people will look at it as straight up stripping, and actually, what the enlightening thing about it is that if you're not in the know about it, burlesque actually means to turn things on its head. So, just by that alone, and actually going out and just immersing myself in this art form, you find that it's an all-encompassing art from different types of live entertainment. You've got music, you've got comedy, you've got variety, you've got striptease, you've got so much, and it's just like all in one 5-minute act at a time. So it's pretty incredible. And what makes it okay is that it's just, because it's all encompassing, it's welcoming of all types of genders, art forms, body types, styles, looks. I mean, you name it, you'll find it in burlesque, and it's pretty incredible. So yeah, I think that's what makes it okay.
And So you mentioned that list of things, which one of the components was stripping, and I have to admit that for me, my understanding, my personal definition of burlesque was that it always involves stripping. But you're saying that sometimes it doesn't.
No. I have a specific example of that. Well, first, Gypsy Rose Lee never took off her clothes. Amazing. I mean, one of my personal, role models in life. I mean, she actually has a song that makes fun of the fact that of removing clothing. It's funny if you guys get a chance, look up, on YouTube. Shameless plug there.
And what era are we talking about for her?
Oh gosh, she was 40s into 50s, and that was a kind of a difficult thing because stripping wasn't really introduced to burlesque until it reached America. Yeah, America.
USA. Take it off.
So it's kind of incredible. And Sally Rand, who had these amazing fans, they were bigger than her body, and she was a classically trained dancer, and she never revealed a part of her body at all. I mean, in fact, she had nude bodysuit. So
really?
It was kind of incredible. And me specifically, I had an act. If I don't know if you've seen, as some of you are familiar with some of my work, but I have an act, an autopsy number, where I actually, cut myself open and reveal organs, and I don't actually
That's awesome.
show my.
It's a different way of taking it off.
Yeah. Kind of take it out.
Take
almost.
it out.
Yeah. And with a man, that'd be something different. So.
Cheers for the front row. That's probably good.
Yeah. All right. So in that act, you're not doing stripping, and now, so historically, when burlesque did not get involved stripping, what made it burlesque versus, say, I don't know, something else, a theater piece or something? What was the definition of burlesque at that time?
It's a really difficult question too. It was a movement for women to. It's predominantly then it was a female art form, and there were. That's not to be said that there weren't any males involved. It was more of an underground scene at that time, but it was predominantly female, and it was at a time when women were just starting to show risque parts of their bodies back then. So it was kind of like
ankles.
Yes, exactly, like an ankle. Hey, what are you doing later?
That's right. If it were 100 years ago, this would be a risky show.
I mean, there were elements of comedy, like he just showed you, that made it funny to show that, so it was easier for people to take, So that was what made it different from regular comedy, was that it was kind of revealing. There was a little bit of mystique. There was the element of tease, but without burying it all. So that's kind of what it set it apart.
Okay, all right. And talk a little bit about how people react to you. I mean, there are reactions from the stage that we would expect, but I imagine you discuss occasionally off stage that you are a burlesque dancer. Can you tell us a little bit about how people react to that?
Oh my gosh. Not to bring in my dating life. But it's not something you really want to lead with, because it's just like, hey, I'm Maria. I'm a burlesque performer, so I kind of try to leave that on the back burner, because, it's not like something, people immediately think, hey, you're a stripper. Well, yes, it's part of it, but that's not all that it is. So there are misunderstandings and stuff. You'll have a new audience member come to the show, and their first reaction is to say, "Show us your tits," and you're like, "No, not quite what I'm going for." Yes, there may be some of that depending on the act, but it's not something that's the only attraction to burlesque. So.
So talk a little bit about the positive reaction, because I know that not everyone reacts negatively.
No. Oh, no, no. It's quite the contrary, and it comes from men and women too. It's not just the positive male reaction, which you would automatically think. With women, it's they'll come up to you afterward and they're like, how do I get to do this? How can I get involved in burlesque? You exhibit so much confidence on stage. You move well. I got so much out of that act. There are various types of reactions depending upon the piece, and even some men are like, oh, that was great. I love this musical element to it. Can I book you in a show? You get those types of reactions. So it varies across the board. There's so much positivity in it. It's pretty incredible too.
And do any men want to do it?
Yes. Oh yes.
I mean, dance. That
yes.
is.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And wow.
Gotta work on it a little bit.